y'all, my name's Priscilla and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year check-in tag, and I was tagged to do this by Jacqueline over at 6 Minutes for Me, so I'll make sure to link her video down below. I am doing this tag even though I have 5 other tags lined up on deck to do, but it is the midpoint-ish through the year. It's July now, but I thought I might as well get this out the way and then jump to those other tags a little bit later. But I was actually thinking about doing like a check-in goals tag or discussion anyway, but since I was tagged to do this, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So I have not prepared at all for these questions, so it's gonna be a surprise to me what I choose for these questions. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So the first question is the best book you've read so far in 2018. How do you pick this? I don't know. I have to go to my Goodreads and even look at the books that I've read, because did I forget everything that I read in January? Like, do I read? Am I good at reading? I think it's gonna be pretty obvious, but I think I'm gonna have to say my favorite so far this year is What It Means When a Man Falls from the Sky by Leslie Neka Arima. If you haven't read this book and you love speculative fiction, science fiction, you need to read this book. It's so amazing. I did a book review on it if you need more convincing, but it's great. I loved it. I want to buy it and reread it. It's the kind of book you read and you immediately want to reread after to get everything, because it's great. It's lovely. You'll love it. Go read it. Question 2 is the best sequels you've read so far in 2018. I think I'm gonna have to go with the March graphic novel. That was my favorite one in that trilogy. And if you haven't read the March graphic novel trilogy, it's written by Congressman John Lewis. It's part memoir, part history about the civil rights movement from John Lewis's perspective, who was a very pivotal civil rights leader and who is a very pivotal, still fighting all this crap in the US government, and is a congressman now, and it culminates in the inauguration of Obama. It's just really great. It's all in black and white. The art is fantastic. The storytelling is fantastic. I learned something from these graphic novels, and I would really love if it was in schools for kids to read, because I think kids would really be able to get something from these and this history that they had it from textbooks, from someone that was actually there, right? So really great. Question number 3 is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. So I'm not really the kind of person that goes into a lot of the new releases anticipating them. Really the only anticipated read that I had this year was Marco Shiro's Anger is a Gift, and I've already read that and I really loved it, by the way. Go read it. But I really don't know of any new releases other than maybe, does The Proposal come out this year by Jacqueline Guillory? I liked The Wedding Date enough, but I felt like my favorite character, Carlos, in The Wedding Date takes the main character role in The Proposal, so maybe that one, if that comes out this year. Question 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Again, I'm not good at these questions. A lot of the books that I've had are not new releases, and the new releases that I tend to read are books that I just pick up on a whim at my library. Question 5 is your biggest disappointment. I think that this is gonna have to unfortunately go to Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. It wasn't that it was bad, it was just, it wasn't the 5-star read that I thought it was gonna be, that I heard a lot about, and I felt like it just fell short for me. I felt like it was quiet, it was well written, but it didn't do everything it set out to do. And I think that the the synopsis is very misleading. But I think that I might reread this in a year or two, or maybe if I ever become a parent, I may get a little more from this. But yeah, it fell short for me. The next question is the biggest surprise. The biggest surprise, I think that is gonna go to, I read My Brother's Husband Volume 1, which is a manga, and I've never read manga before. I don't know why I picked it up, but I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did. It's a graphic novel manga about a Japanese man whose twin brother has died, and his twin brother's husband, a Canadian man, comes to visit him. It really like touches on, not, I don't want to say homophobia, but just the Japanese culture and how they haven't fully accepted gayness, I guess, and how it's very much a very closeted topic. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about this more in my wrap up, but it was just really great. The art is really fantastic and I really loved it. So that was probably the biggest surprise to me. It wasn't that I thought it was gonna be bad, I just didn't think I was gonna enjoy it as much as I did. The next question is your new favorite author, debut or new to you. That is gonna have to undoubtedly go to Elizabeth Acevedo, who wrote The Poet X. This is a YA contemporary novel written in verse. I absolutely loved it. I listened to it on audiobook. She performs it in sort of a slam poetry kind of style, and I knew immediately that I loved it and I had to go buy it because I'm gonna want to reread this and I'm gonna want to gift it to all the little girls in my life. This is a new release. It was released this year and it follows a Afro-Latina girl in Harlem as she encounters sexism and slut shaming and misogyny and religion. Her family are strict conservative Catholics and communion, and she discovers slam poetry and performance, and she discovers her voice in the process. And it's just really great. I know a lot of people have talked about this, but it just lives up to the hype. Easily a 5-star read for me. I loved it and I think everyone will love it. Go read it. The next question is a fictional crush. I don't have an answer for this, sorry. And question number 9 is your newest favorite character. So my newest favorite character, I've been scrolling through my Goodreads and I think that it's gonna have to go to Angel from The House of Impossible Beauties by Joseph Casara. And this book is so beautiful, it's so tragic. It's about the 1980s ballroom scene, it's historical fiction. It follows our main character, Angel, who is a trans woman of color. And she loves all her children. She cares for all her children. She has a great story and I love her. So she's my newest favorite character, at least so far. So the next question, question 10, is a book that made you cry or the saddest book you have read. I don't cry a lot in books. Probably The Best We Could Do by Thi Bui. That book was pretty sad. I don't think it was a cry-worthy book, but it's a very heart-wrenching book. It's about it's a memoir graphic novel about a Vietnamese woman and her relationship with her parents and her family and the immigrant experience. They left war-torn Vietnam and how they carry all these things with them and how she has this strained relationship with her parents, and in the end there's not really much of a resolution. It's kind of like this coming to truth moment that this is how things are, this is why the things are the way they are, but this tragic past permeates their entire family. And it's really tragic. It's really sad. It didn't make me cry, but it is pretty sad. So it's really beautiful though. Like, highly recommend it. I loved it, but it is pretty sad. So I'll go with that one. Your favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year. I actually haven't watched a lot of book to film adaptations this year, so I don't really have a large pool to choose from. I did see Love, Simon, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really great. Nick Robinson is a cinnamon roll. He plays Simon. I thought that was pretty good, but I really don't know if my answer is fair because I haven't seen a lot of film adaptations. The next question though, let's see. Number 13 is your favorite review you've written this year or your favorite video you've done this year. So the favorite video that I've done this year is without a doubt the one where Yvette and I bought each other books and we took over each other's channels, I guess, and vlogged in a bookstore buying books for each other. I haven't read a lot of those books, unfortunately. I need to, but that video was so fun to make and I feel like a lot of people received it pretty well. So if you haven't seen that video, you should definitely check it out. The next is the most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or book that you've received. This beautiful version that I got of The Secret Garden. It's got the gilded gold pages. I remember really loving The Secret Garden and I saw it and honestly I just bought it. So probably this book. Yeah, beautiful. And the last question, question 15, is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? That is probably going to be the books that I haven't read yet on my Read Harder TBR challenge. Actually, done pretty well. I'm doing pretty well on that so far. I've read about half of it. We're about midway through the year. So I'm not going to stress out too much about it. But at the same time, I know myself. And I know that I have read the books and completed the challenges that honestly I kind of gravitate towards anyway. So it is going to be harder to read the remaining 12, but I know I can do it. So it's those other 12 books that I need to read for that TBR, and I'm on the 13th one actually now. I'm reading Fact of a Body, I think is what it's called, and I'm considering this my true crime book. So I'm on 13 of the 24 books that I have to read for that, but those are ones I really want to read this year, so complete those. And that's all that I have for this tag video. This has been a really great way to check in with some of my goals and what I read this year. So I don't know if I'm going to tag anybody because I know a lot of people have already been doing either this tag or another. I think there's another mid-year tag going around. But if you haven't and you are goal-oriented and you want to do it, consider yourself tagged, honestly. You should do it if you haven't already. I really like the questions, and I think that you might too. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.